Have you ever had that feeling that something big is about to happen, but you can't quite see what it is? The world around us is changing in ways most people don't even notice, and ancient prophecies are being fulfilled right before our eyes. You might not believe it now, but I'm going to show you undeniable proof that the end times are no longer a matter of when, but of now. The confusion and pain you feel while trying to understand what's happening around you will find answers here. I'll guide you to understand what's coming and, more importantly, how to prepare for what's happening. Before we start the video, I want to ask you to take a quick moment and check if you're already subscribed to the channel. I have an incredible series of videos coming up that will clear up all your doubts about prophecies. Don't miss the chance to stay informed and deepen your knowledge. 1. The social credit system and the influence of technological innovations. The social credit system is a model of social evaluation and control that monitors and ranks individual behavior. To better understand its implications, it's worth reflecting on how technological innovations, such as those promoted by Elon Musk, could influence or integrate into such systems. Operation and evaluation. Data collection. The social credit system collects extensive data on individuals. Today, technologies developed by companies like Tesla and Elon Musk SpaceX, which involve massive data collection through autonomous vehicles and space technologies, illustrate the growing monitoring capabilities. If the integration of these technologies into the social credit system were considered, we would see an even greater increase in the collection and analysis of personal data. Score calculation. Elon Musk and his companies are at the forefront of technological innovation, from advanced algorithms in autonomous cars to artificial intelligence systems. The evolution of these algorithms could impact how scores in the social credit system are calculated, making it more accurate but also potentially more invasive. Benefits and penalties. Access to benefits and restrictions. Just as the social credit system can grant or restrict access to services based on scores, Musk's innovations, such as Starlink, are transforming access to global information and communication. While these technologies may broaden access to opportunities, they also raise concerns about how information is used to classify and control individuals. Similarity to the mark of the beast. Biblical concept. The mark of the beast, as described in Revelation, represents a means of absolute control. If we consider Musk's futuristic vision of a connected and monitored world, the concept of absolute control becomes a relevant issue. The use of emerging technologies may amplify the discussion about how a social credit system could resemble forms of totalitarian control. Control and privacy. Continuous monitoring. Advanced monitoring technologies, similar to those developed by Musk, have the potential to intensify privacy concerns. The impact of continuous monitoring on individuals' lives could be exacerbated by these innovations, raising questions about the ethics and limits of social control. Social impacts. Social pressure and inequality. The social credit system may create pressure for conformity. As innovative technologies emerge, such as those promoted by Musk, the social impact of these technologies may increase, influencing how people adjust to standards and widening the gap between those with access to new technologies and those left out. Ethical concerns. Freedom and control. The use of technologies for social control presents ethical dilemmas, especially when associated with figures like Elon Musk, who lead technological innovation. Questions about individual freedom and social control become even more complex when considering the potential of these technologies to monitor and influence behavior. Thus, while the social credit system represents a model of social control with deep implications, technological innovations, like those driven by Elon Musk, show how technological advancements can shape and intensify these control systems. This raises crucial questions about privacy, freedom, and the ethics of technological monitoring. The Antichrist is already among us. Are you prepared for what's coming? Many people are worried about what will happen in the apocalypse, but few truly understand the danger the Antichrist represents. Prophecies are being fulfilled faster than we think, and chaos may be much closer than you realize. Are you ready to face it? If you feel lost or afraid of what the future holds, now is the time to seek clarity. My ebook reveals everything you need to know about biblical prophecies and the role of the Antichrist in the end times. It's not just a book, it's a spiritual and mental survival guide for what's to come. Imagine watching the world around you change while you're prepared, aware, and armed with the right tools to avoid being deceived. The end may be inevitable, but how you respond to it depends entirely on you. By the way, I want to remind you that I've left an ebook for you to download, specifically about this topic. Head over to the link in the description and download yours. I'll keep it up for 24 hours. The ebook link is in the comments. Don't wait until it's too late. Now is your chance to understand what's happening and act before the worst happens. 2. The importance of turning to God. As technology advances, many turn to innovations like cryonics and other forms of life extension, hoping to find a solution to death and finitude. However, it is essential to recognize that, according to the Bible, true salvation and eternal life come through a spiritual relationship with God, not through technology. The pursuit of technological immortality. Cryonics and other technologies. Cryonics is the practice of freezing bodies after death with the hope that, in the future, science will be able to reverse death and cure diseases. Other technologies, such as genetic engineering and nanotechnology, are also being explored to prolong life or even achieve a form of immortality. These advancements promise the possibility of extending human life but face significant challenges and uncertainties. Expectations and limitations. While these technologies may seem promising, they are far from proven and face significant limitations. There is no guarantee that such methods will succeed in restoring life or ensuring immortality. Furthermore, science has yet to fully understand all aspects of aging and death. The biblical view of eternal life. Salvation through Christ. The Bible presents eternal life as a spiritual gift offered by God through faith in Jesus Christ. According to John chapter 3, verse 16, God gave his Son so that whoever believes in him shall not perish, but have eternal life. This verse emphasizes that eternal life is a matter of faith and relationship with God, not something that can be achieved through technological means. Difference between physical and spiritual life. The Bible teaches that eternal life transcends physical life. While technology may attempt to extend physical life, eternal life in the biblical perspective refers to a spiritual existence in communion with God, beyond the physical and temporal limitations of life on earth. Spiritual significance of eternal life. Communion with God. In the biblical view, eternal life is a personal and ongoing relationship with God. It is described as a state of peace, joy, and fulfillment in God's presence. In John chapter 1, verses 5, 11 to 12, it is written, "And this is the testimony, that God has given us eternal life, and this life is in his Son. He who has the Son has life, he who does not have the Son of God does not have life." Promise of life beyond death. The eternal life offered by God is not just about the continuation of existence but about spiritual transformation and the fulfillment of an eternal purpose. It is the promise of a full and meaningful life that goes beyond physical death. The challenge of technology versus spirituality. Shifting away from spiritual focus, the intense pursuit of technological solutions for immortality can shift focus away from deeper spiritual matters. Technology may offer advancements and benefits, but the Bible teaches that true security and hope come from faith and a spiritual connection with God. Importance of spiritual relationship. While technological innovations can improve the quality of life and provide temporary benefits, they cannot replace the importance of a spiritual relationship with God. Faith in God and the pursuit of a rich spiritual life offer a perspective and purpose that go beyond physical and temporary solutions. Thus, while technologies may offer many promises for physical life and health, the Bible reminds us that true eternal life and salvation come from a spiritual relationship with God. This perspective emphasizes the importance of seeking a spiritual dimension beyond technological solutions and highlights the richness and depth of the biblical promise of eternal life. Many people run back and forth trying to achieve success in life, but focusing only on the result is an illusion because, in reality, success is the fruit of the seeds planted in the past. These seeds are the principles and habits of Stoicism that transform anyone's life. 3. The expansion of cryonics. Cryonics is a practice in which a person's body is frozen immediately after death in the hope that, in the future, science will be able to bring them back to life. This is done because some people believe that with advances in medicine and technology, it may become possible to cure the diseases that caused their death and reverse the effects of freezing. In recent years, cryonics has become more popular, and many families are investing large sums of money to preserve their loved ones. These individuals want to ensure that if science advances in the future, their relatives might have a second chance at life. The Alcor Life Extension Foundation is one of the leading organizations in the world offering this service. They have special facilities where they store the bodies and heads of deceased individuals. The process involves cooling the body to extremely low temperatures using liquid nitrogen so that biological processes are halted and the body can be kept in a state of preservation. These practices are based on the hope that, one day, medicine will be able to repair the damage caused by freezing and treat the conditions that led to death. However, it is important to remember that there is still no scientific proof that this will actually work, and cryonics is considered highly speculative. 4. Preservation and futuristic technology. Imagine you have a very special book that you want to save so that, one day in the future, someone can read it again. To do this, you decide to place it in a special box that keeps it at a perfect temperature, protecting it from any damage. Cryonics is a bit like that, but for people, not books. When a person dies and is placed in cryonics, the first step is to cool their body to extremely low temperatures using a liquid called liquid nitrogen, which is even colder than the freezing point of ice. Liquid nitrogen can keep the body at a very cold temperature, almost like a super powerful freezer, where the temperature is about -196 degrees Celsius. This cooling process is done very quickly to ensure that the body doesn't suffer damage. Just like a magical box could preserve a book, extreme cold preserves the body, stopping all the biological processes that naturally happen after death. The goal is to freeze the body in a state of preservation. Now, the hope is that in the future, science will advance in such an incredible way that doctors and scientists will be able to unfreeze the body and cure all the diseases that caused death. Imagine that instead of just preserving a book, you could rewrite it and restore all the damaged pages. Similarly, scientists hope they can repair any damage caused by freezing and fix the cause of death. Although this idea is very exciting, we still don't have concrete proof that it can really happen. Cryonics is an area full of hope and speculation, waiting for future technology to be able to perform this kind of scientific miracle. 5. Scientific controversies. Cryonics is a practice aimed at preserving human bodies after death, with the hope that in the future, science will be able to revive them and cure the diseases that caused death. While the idea is fascinating, there are several significant scientific controversies and challenges associated with this practice. Let's explore these challenges in detail. Damage from freezing cells and tissues. Ice crystal formation. When a body is cooled to the extremely low temperatures used in cryonics, -196 degrees Celsius with liquid nitrogen, ice crystals form inside the cells. These crystals can expand and rupture cell membranes, leading to severe structural damage. This can compromise the integrity of tissues and organs, making them irreparable. Necrosis and apoptosis. Besides freezing, the natural processes of necrosis, unprogrammed cell death, and apoptosis, programmed cell death, continue to occur before the body is fully cooled, which can cause additional damage and complications. Thawing and reversing damage. Thawing process. Thawing a frozen body must be done in a highly controlled manner to prevent further damage. The process is complex and involves gradually raising the temperature. Any mistake in the rate of warming can cause more ice crystal formation or collapse of cellular structures. Currently, technology lacks proven methods to thaw and restore tissues and organs without causing further damage. Science is far from developing techniques that can repair cellular damage and restore the normal function of organs after freezing. Preserving memory and identity. Brain complexity. The human brain is extremely complex, with billions of interconnected neurons that store memories, thoughts, and a person's identity. Preserving this complexity during the cryonics process is a monumental challenge. Current science does not fully understand how the mind and personality are formed and stored, making it difficult to preserve and restore these aspects. Integrity of the mind. Even if the body were successfully preserved, there are no guarantees that the mind and consciousness would be restored intact. Damage caused by freezing may affect the structure and function of the brain in ways that cannot be easily reversed. Lack of empirical evidence. Scientific data. Cryonics is a speculative practice and lacks solid scientific support. To date, there is no empirical evidence that successfully reviving frozen bodies is possible. Modern science has not demonstrated that freezing and reanimating human bodies can be done safely and effectively. Experiments and results. While there have been experiments with frozen cells and tissues, the results have not been promising when it comes to complex organisms like humans. Most studies focus on isolated cells or small tissues, not entire bodies. Ethical and philosophical aspects. Ethical questions. Cryonics raises ethical concerns about the use of resources and the nature of life and death. Investing large sums of money in cryonics can be seen as a form of inequality, where only a few have access to this technology. Moreover, the concept of freezing people for the future can spark debates about the definition and value of human life. Social impact. The advancement of cryonics could have profound social and philosophical implications, including questions about the nature of immortality, quality of life, and preparing for a future that may be vastly different from the present. Thus, while cryonics offers a futuristic and hopeful vision, current science faces many challenges and uncertainties. The lack of concrete proof and the complexities involved make this practice a topic of considerable debate and speculation. 6. The quest for immortality. Imagine an ancient legend about a lost kingdom where there is a magical fountain of eternal youth. Many adventurers embarked on expeditions to find this kingdom, believing that drinking from the fountain would grant them endless life. Each faced challenges and dangers, driven by the promise of an eternal and boundless existence. This legend can be a metaphor for the human quest for immortality throughout history. Since ancient times, people have sought ways to live forever, whether through religious, philosophical, or scientific means. Historical and spiritual pursuits of immortality. From ancient times, immortality has been a central desire in human life. In mythology and religions, many cultures believe that eternal life could be achieved through virtues, devotion, and specific practices. For example, in some Eastern religions, the concept of reincarnation offered a form of continued existence, promising a new life after death. In ancient Greece, the quest for immortality often involved gods and heroes, who were depicted as eternal or nearly immortal beings. In Christian tradition, eternal life is one of the cornerstones of faith, promising believers an everlasting existence with God in heaven. The scientific revolution and modern immortality. With the advancement of science and technology, the desire for immortality began to take on new forms. Cryonics is a modern example of this quest. It represents the attempt to extend life through scientific methods, specifically by freezing the body after death in the hope that, in the future, science will be able to reverse the state of death and cure any disease that caused it. Cryonics is akin to a form of waiting for a future where medicine and technology will have advanced to the point of solving problems currently deemed incurable. People who invest in cryonics are essentially betting on the future of science and hoping that someday there will be technology capable of reversing the process of death and repairing the damage caused by freezing. Challenges and controversies in the quest for immortality. Even with these promises and hopes, the quest for immortality faces significant challenges. Cryonics, for example, encounters several controversies and unresolved issues. Damage from freezing and thawing. As mentioned, the freezing process can cause irreversible damage to cells and tissues, and current science lacks proven methods to reverse this damage without causing further issues. Lack of scientific evidence. There is no solid evidence that cryonics can actually work as promised. Science has yet to prove that it is possible to reverse the state of death and restore life successfully. Ethical and philosophical questions. The idea of seeking immortality through scientific means may raise ethical questions about the value of life and how resources are used. Additionally, the desire for immortality may be seen as a way to avoid confronting the reality of death and the natural limits of life. The desire to transcend death. The desire to achieve immortality is, in many ways, a way to deal with the fear of death and finitude. The quest for ways to extend life, whether through spiritual methods or scientific innovations, reflects a deep-seated desire to transcend natural limits and achieve a form of continuity or eternity. In summary, the pursuit of immortality is a journey filled with hope, challenges, and complex issues. Whether through religious practices, ancient philosophies, or modern scientific innovations, the desire to live forever is a fundamental part of the human experience, reflecting both our fears and our deepest dreams. 7. Theological perspective on death. In the Bible, death is viewed in two main ways, as a consequence of sin and as an opportunity for salvation. Let's explore these perspectives. Consequence of sin. Death is described in the Bible as the consequence of the original sin committed by Adam and Eve. According to the biblical account, God created man and woman to live eternally in the Garden of Eden. However, when they disobeyed God, sin entered the world and brought death as a result of that disobedience. Romans 6 verse 23 states, "For the wages of sin is death," indicating that death is a direct result of sin. Opportunity for salvation. Although death is seen as a consequence of sin, the Bible also presents death as an opportunity for salvation and eternal life through Jesus Christ. The New Testament teaches that, through Jesus' death and resurrection, humanity has the chance to be reconciled with God and receive eternal life. John 3 verse 16 affirms, "For God so loved the world that he gave his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him shall not perish but have eternal life." Psalm 90 and the brevity of life. Psalm 90 reflects on the brevity of human life. This psalm compares life to a sleep and to grass that quickly withers, emphasizing that life is short and fleeting. It highlights the importance of recognizing the fragility of life and the eternity of God. The length of our days is 70 years, or 80, if we have the strength, yet their span is but trouble and sorrow, for they quickly pass, and we fly away. Psalm 90 verse 10. Eternity of God. In contrast to the brevity of human life, Psalm 90 also celebrates the eternity of God. Human life is fleeting, but God is described as eternal and unchanging. This reflects the belief that, despite the brevity of life, God remains constant and eternal, offering hope and security to those who trust in him. Therefore, from a biblical theological perspective, death is seen both as a consequence of sin and as an opportunity to attain eternal life through Christ. This view provides an understanding of death that combines the reality of human mortality with the hope of salvation and eternal life. 8. The transience of human life. Imagine a lush garden with vibrant flowers and green grass that shines in the sunlight. Each flower in the garden seems alive and full of energy, but you know that over time, these flowers will wilt and the grass will dry out. Just like in the garden, human life also has a cycle, and the Bible reminds us of its transience with a poetic image. Psalm 90 uses a metaphor to describe human life as a fleeting sleep and grass that withers. Life, according to this psalm, is like a brief night of sleep. It may seem long while we are living, but in the end, it is like a short rest before we awaken to eternity. Psalm 90 verses 5 to 6 says, "You sweep them away as with a flood, they are like a dream. In the morning, they are like grass that grows up. In the morning, it flourishes and grows up, in the evening, it is cut down and withers." This metaphor compares life to a plant that grows quickly in the morning and withers by the end of the day, highlighting how short and fleeting life is. The comparison to grass is also significant. Grass is something we see grow and die quickly, reflecting the fragility and brevity of human life. Just as grass is ephemeral, life is equally short, and often we may feel that time passes too quickly. However, despite this transience, Psalm 90 also reminds us that life is precious and should be lived with purpose. It encourages us to reflect on our mortality and seek divine wisdom and guidance to live meaningfully. Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom, Psalm 90 verse 12. Therefore, the Bible uses these images to remind us of the transient nature of life, encouraging us to value each moment and to seek a purposeful life, recognizing that, despite its brevity, our actions and choices have a lasting impact. Life is fleeting, we are just passing through. From here, nothing is taken, not even our baggage. Life is like this, we will never know what tomorrow will bring. Comment below on what you would do if you knew today was your last day of life. I will respond and address any questions in the comments. Continuing. 9. Technology and Biblical Prophecy. Imagine a world where technology has advanced so much that everything is interconnected, your purchases, your conversations, your daily activities. Now, imagine that this technology begins to be used to control fundamental aspects of your life, such as where you can go and what you can do. This idea isn't too far off when compared with the concept of the mark of the beast described in the book of Revelation in the Bible. The biblical vision of the mark of the beast. In the book of Revelation, chapter 13, the Bible speaks of a future where there will be a sign or mark of the beast that everyone will have to receive in order to buy or sell. This means that without this mark, you will not be able to access essential goods or participate in the economy. The mark is seen as a symbol of absolute control over people's lives. Modern technology and control. Now, consider how modern technology is shaping the way we live. With the advent of RFID chips, radio frequency identification, and neural interfaces, we have devices that can store information and interact with other systems. For example, RFID chips. These chips are used for everything from inventory tracking to contactless payments. They can store information about your identity and transactions, making things more convenient but also raising questions about privacy and control. Neural interfaces. Technology is beginning to explore ways to connect the brain directly with computers, allowing us to control devices with our thoughts. While this may seem fascinating, it also raises concerns about how these technologies could be used to control and monitor individuals. The potential for absolute control. As these technologies become more advanced and more integrated into our lives, the potential for absolute control over individuals grows. If a social credit system can already influence access to services, future technologies could offer even greater control over people's lives, perhaps even in ways similar to what is described as the mark of the beast. Future concerns. The growing dependence on digital technology and data networks may pave the way for more extensive forms of control, similar to the biblical concept. Control over digital information and the ability to monitor and regulate individual activities could create a scenario where personal freedom is limited by access to essential resources. 10. What is cryonics? Imagine you have a very special toy, the one you love dearly. One day, it breaks, and you don't have the tools to fix it at home. But instead of throwing it away, you think, what if I keep this toy until someone invents a magical glue in the future that can fix it perfectly? So, you put it in a super safe place, waiting for that special day. Now, think of a similar situation, but with people. Cryonics is when someone who is very sick or has even passed away is put into a deep sleep, like a freezing process but with super advanced technology. They are stored in special tanks at very, very low temperatures, colder than anywhere you've ever been. This happens because science today doesn't yet have the magical glue to cure these diseases or bring people back to life. But some people believe that, in the future, doctors and scientists will find a way to cure everything. So, the idea is, these people are sleeping in freezing conditions, hoping that one day, science will advance so much that doctors can wake them up, fix what was wrong, and they can continue living. It's like a second chance, but in the future. But here's the big question, will it work? Nobody knows yet because no one has ever been thawed and brought back to life. It's a gamble these people are taking, trusting that technology will advance greatly in the future. It's like you keeping that toy, hoping for something that maybe only your great-grandchildren will ever know. Let's move on to the next topic, but first, I noticed you haven't given this video a like yet. This is crucial for YouTube to continue promoting our content and for us to keep helping you. So, go ahead and give us a like, it's free. Thanks. Now, let's continue. Solutions for viewers. Education and critical research. What does it mean? Imagine you're about to buy a new toy. You wouldn't buy it without knowing if it's safe and if it works well, right? It's the same with new technologies like cryonics. Cryonics is a way to try to freeze people so they can be woken up in the future. But before believing it will work, it's important to know what scientists say and what the risks are. How to do this? Ask and learn, ask adults or research these technologies. Find out if there is proof that they really work and what experts say. Read and compare, look at different sources of information to understand the pros and cons. Don't rely on just one source. Balancing science and spirituality. What does it mean? It's like when you enjoy playing but also know you need to do your homework. Science is important because it helps us understand the world and improve our lives, but spirituality helps us understand and feel things that we can't see with our eyes. How to do this? Play and reflect, enjoy scientific advances, like new toys or games, but also take time to think about things that make you feel good and at peace, like talking to God or meditating. Talk with others, discuss what you've learned with your friends and family. Ask them what they think about how science and spirituality fit into their lives. Spiritual preparation. What does it mean? It's like preparing for a big event, such as a school presentation. You feel more confident and comfortable when you're well prepared. Similarly, spiritual preparation means being ready to deal with important aspects of life and death in a way that makes you feel secure and happy. How to do this? Study and reflect, read books or listen to stories about what people believe about life and what happens after we die. It can be something you learn at school or at home with your family. Practice, engage in activities that help you feel a deeper connection, like praying, meditating, or participating in religious or community activities. Reflection on mortality. What does it mean? Think about how you have a favorite toy that might break or a plant that grows and then dies. This reminds us that everything has an end. Life is similar. Thinking about this can help us appreciate each moment more. How to do this? Appreciate the present, try to enjoy each day and do things that make you happy. Spend time with friends and family and do things you like. Remember what's important, focus on what really matters to you, like being kind and helping others. Awareness of technological control. What does it mean? Imagine someone is always watching what you do and decides what you can or can't do. This can happen with technology, like when you have to use a card to enter a place. It's important to understand how technology can affect our freedom. How to do this? Understand the rules, ask and learn about how the technology you use works and if there are rules about how it can be used. Protect yourself. Be careful with the personal information you share and know that you can ask adults if something seems strange. Thanks for watching up to this point. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next content. See you in the next video.